G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's episode. Now sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user ShotIndependence8641, titled, Am I the asshole for calling my former bully beyond repulsive and dumb as shit after he kept bothering me in the gym? I, female 18, started university this year. My school is located outside my home province, so I wasn't expecting to see too many people from my high school here. However, I did see this one guy from high school, Thomas, male 18, here. To say Thomas and I had a difficult past is a bit of an understatement. He tormented my friends, especially me, during our preteen years and for the first 2 years of high school. He would always call me the most hurtful things and was your typical bully. I don't know why he hated me, though I think he probably thought that I was an easy target. He stopped picking on us around grade 11, and I thought that was it. Apparently, according to some of my friends, he turned over a new leaf around that time. Fast forward, and I see him during orientation week. He approached me and said hi. I returned his greeting, and we made some small talk, but I tried to keep things relatively short. During this chat, I learned that, surprise, surprise, we're in the same program and even in the same residence building. He seemed happy with this, as in his words, it was nice to see a familiar face. Over the next few weeks, we've been chatting pretty regularly, given that we do have pretty similar schedules. I've been trying to give short, polite answers, but whenever we talk, he just doesn't shut up. I sometimes suspect that he actively seeks me out for a chat. Earlier today, when I was at the campus gym, I saw Thomas. I tried to avoid his general area in the gym and kept my AirPods in my ears, hoping that he would not notice me. About halfway through my set, I hear him call out to me. We talked for a bit. I was annoyed at this stage, as he did interrupt my workout, and then he starts asking me if I need help with any of the equipment or anything like that, and that he could personally train me. I declined his offer, and then he bluntly asked me out. I didn't think that I heard him properly, so I asked him to repeat what he said. Then he said he wanted to take me out for lunch or something like that. I said something along the lines of, now wouldn't be a good time, but he persisted and said that it could be fun. At this stage, I snapped. I told him that I thought he was beyond repulsive and dumb as shit if he thought that I would go out with him. He looked very shocked at this, and before anything else could be said, I grabbed my bag and left. Later, I told my roommate about this, and she said that I was sort of an ass, but that she could understand where I was coming from. Am I the asshole? In the comments, Callow98989 says, has he ever apologized for what he did to you? Or the topic of why he ever treated you like that? No assholes here. He tormented you for years, so of course you want nothing to do with him. But it does seem like he's trying to make a genuine effort not to be the person that he used to be. He still has to know that there are consequences to his actions, though. OP replies, he kind of apologized back in grade 11. He made no reference to our past aside from, it's nice to see someone familiar for the past few weeks. It's like, it's cool and everything you've been able to put this behind you, but your actions have left permanent scars on my psyche, and I have a right to still feel hurt by them. The axe forgets, but the tree remembers. This is what OP needs to say if she speaks to him again. She is sorry she hurt him, but shocked he can't remember what he did to her over and over again. Let him know that civility is the best that he can hope for. Even friendship is not to be. No assholes here, because communication might have made this easier on both of them, but I can absolutely understand why OP popped. I'm sorry, but why does she have to apologize for hurting him? He pushed after she politely declined. That's what you get when you ignore others' refusal. Women need to stop apologizing for shit like this. He made her snap. If he's hurt, he should learn something from it. Not the asshole. He made your life hell, bullied you. You're going to have a lot of anger towards him built up inside. Yeah, you snapped at him, but I'd do the same if someone had made my life such a hell in school. Yes, he may have changed now, but from what you've said, he's never actually apologized for any of it. Not the asshole. Unless he got brain damage between grade 11 and now, he has to remember how he treated you. Hopefully, he knows now that you remember, even if he pretends not to. He thinks the grade 11 apology covers all the pain he caused. OP talking to him just confirmed that in his mind. I'm close to saying that OP is the asshole because she kept talking to him, but because OP did suffer, not the asshole. Update. Before I go on with the update, I'd like to thank everyone who responded to my first post. I appreciate it. Given that we're in the same res and share several classes, and a 3-hour Monday lab, I've been catching some glimpses of Thomas from time to time throughout the week. I saw him a lot on Monday given our lab, but we didn't speak. Throughout the rest of the week, I didn't see him too much, and was starting to think that things would end there. That was until Thursday night. I was hanging out in the dining area of the res, catching up on some readings. It was around 9 p.m., so the area was largely empty. About 15 minutes into my readings, I saw Thomas, and who I'm assuming is his roommate, walking around. I think they were just grabbing some food or something. I continued doing my readings, and then I just saw him, I guess his roommate left by this stage, standing pretty close by. When I looked at him, he asked if he could speak with me. I said fine. The only reason I think I did bother listening to him was because I felt faintly bad for lashing out the previous weekend. He told me that he was very sorry for bothering me in the gym when I appeared busy, and he should have known that I'd still have reservations about talking with him given how he treated me in the past. He went on for a good few minutes about how terrible he was, and how much grace I had for even speaking with him for the past few weeks. Then he started saying things like how there were no excuses for his behavior and so on. I asked him if he thought there were no excuses, then why did he pick on me? Since I was a pretty quiet kid, I said that he probably thought that I was an easy target. He denied this and just became quiet around this stage. I asked again, and then he said that he did it because he liked me for a very long time. Those were his exact words. He also said he wanted me to go out with him last weekend so that he could apologize more formally because he respected me. I will admit, I felt really annoyed at this stage. So I told him his apparent feelings were a cop-out and that he probably thought that it would make me forgive him. I told him that telling me this made my stomach churn. He looked a little surprised at this and didn't say anything. I then told him that if he had any of his so-called respect for me, he would keep his distance. He agreed and said that he was sorry for bothering me again. Friday passed by pretty smoothly, and I don't remember seeing him at all, so hopefully he got the message. In the comments, I don't know why boys who have crushes pull the pigtails of the girls they like, but it's a common trope. It's altogether possible he's not lying about having liked you and just bullied you because he didn't know how to express it, but that doesn't excuse it, and you owe him nothing. Hopefully he's learned that the next time he likes someone, he should treat them well instead of bully them. Not the asshole. My bully added me on Facebook, and for a while during lockdown at the beginning of the pandemic, actually started to hit on me. So I finally asked him what the hell was up with that, considering how he treated me when we were in high school. He acted like he had no idea what I was talking about. A therapist told me that it was likely he didn't remember. We had graduated more than 20 years ago because it didn't register to him back then, whereas I had been scarred by him. Needless to say, I blocked him for my own peace and well-being. I hope your bully leaves you alone now. You mentioned in your previous post that he bullied your friends. Is he saying that he had a crush on them as well? And OP says, when I told my friends about it, they were saying that if he went to one of their universities, he'd probably say the same thing to them. Similar shit happened to me. A few guys bullied me until our senior year of high school. After graduation, whenever one of them would see me, they would tell me how good I looked and ask me out. The thing is, I looked the same. It wasn't like I had a glow-up or something. I was never given a reason for the bullying because they all denied ever being cruel to me. I can't believe OP talked to him at all. In my language, we have a saying that roughly translates to, pestering girls is asking for kisses. It's a stupid, outdated saying. I'm laughing at this man thinking I only bullied you because I liked you is an acceptable excuse, lol. For sure. How did he think this was going to go? Oh wow, the whole time you liked me? That certainly instantly undoes all the pain you caused me over the years. The times you made me cry and feel unsafe and question my own worth are erased from my brain without a trace. Wow, thanks. I'll sleep with you now. Our next post is by user Dry Affection, titled, Am I the asshole for blocking my husband and considering divorce after him not prioritizing our family? For a little context, I've not been feeling very well. My physical health has been decaying because of my periods. I lose too much blood, and this affects my hemoglobin and the rest of my normal functioning of my body. Yes, I've seen the OBGYN specialist, but they find nothing wrong in my reproductive organs. I got my period and went to the doctor's office because the pain was unbearable and I was losing lots of blood. When I arrived, my blood pressure was on the limits of normal, 100/60. Taking into consideration the amount of blood I was losing, doctors immediately transferred me in an ambulance to the nearest hospital. When I was being transported, I tried calling my husband, and I was sent directly to voicemail. I sent him text messages and no response. I then called my mum and my baby's nanny because I wouldn't make it home for a few hours. I was treated by doctors, and they inserted lots of needles, but I was getting better. An hour later, my husband texted me back just saying that he hadn't seen his phone and was asking how I was. I explained that my mum was at the hospital with me, but our daughter was home alone with a nanny. He then told me that he couldn't make it home either. No explanation, he just told me, I wish I could, and I would have gotten home early if I'd seen the messages earlier, but unfortunately I didn't, so I can't. Excuse me? Your wife is at the hospital. Your daughter is alone with a nanny, and why the hell can't you go take care of her? After demanding an explanation for what could be more important than his family, he told me that he couldn't make it home because his male best friend needed help. I was shocked. I felt unimportant and betrayed. Supposedly, your family should be your number one priority, and we weren't his. I don't even care what his friend needed him for. I'd bet that could have waited in cases of emergencies like these. I am writing this down from the hospital still, just trying to get it off my chest. I blocked him. I don't even know if I really want to talk to him about how he made me feel. I am seriously considering separation and divorce. If I couldn't count on him today, what assures me that this won't happen again? So, am I the asshole? In the comments, LeatherForever291 says, similar situation here. Sorta had a heart attack, so my husband had to be with the kids overnight alone. He sent me videos of the baby crying, and then was mad that I couldn't come home, and that they were making me stay. Like, sorry I almost died. The nurse saw how it was making me cry and turned my phone off. Jesus Christ. Please tell me this guy gets better, and if he didn't, I hope you escaped. No, not yet. Well, I hope you do. Are you making escape plans at least? I know sometimes you need time to get money together and secure other housing, etc. And they reply, that is so much easier said than done. I have 4 kiddos, I'm a stay-at-home mum, and that situation was just the tip of a big iceberg. I appreciate all the comments though, and trust me, if I had a place to go, I would. A lot of it is that I can't upend 4 kids and not have a plan, and I can't have a plan without a job, and I can't get a job because of the kids, and even if I did somehow manage to get a job, I wouldn't make enough to support us. It's a lot. But if someone offered me a place rent-free for the first year, and I only paid like utilities, I'd move in a heartbeat. Not the asshole. You're in a hospital with sinking vitals and blood loss? Anything short of him being actively involved in saving his friend from literally dying is a complete betrayal. And that's only an exception if he was physically closer to the friend's location before the message that was ignored. Vows were made. He's likely having an affair. Yup. His best friend is his other lover. That's where my mind went. Or he assumes that you're being histrionic, and I use that term intentionally, and is blowing you off. Ugh. Updates. Hello everyone on Reddit. Thank you all for your kind, sweet words and support. I didn't expect to receive that many comments. I tried to read as much as I could, but it was just too much. I really appreciate you taking the time to read my story and sharing your different opinions on the matter. I just needed to vent how I was feeling and also read other people's point of view, because I thought maybe I could be wrong and was overreacting. This is not the first time that he didn't prioritize us. I guess I'm reaching my limit. Anyway, I unblocked him after a few hours because if anything worse happened, he had to be able to contact me and vice versa. So I spent most of the night alone in the hospital. This was the first time I've actually came in because of my period. I was pretty scared, to be honest. My vitals were sinking up to the point that it was 80/50 last time I was kind of aware of my surroundings. Fortunately, my mum stood by my side the whole time. She said I was totally pale and unresponsive. I don't know what would have happened if she wasn't, because then I would have been all alone. The doctors gave me a blood transfusion and IV liquids in order to keep me safe. My hemoglobin levels were way too low because of the amount of blood that I had lost the past 2 days. I got discharged once my vitals were stable and I was feeling better. I really wanted to go back home to my daughter. She must have been scared too. I said it's my baby, but she's a 4-year-old toddler. As a mum, she is still my baby. Sorry if I confused you guys. I'm now resting at home after speaking to my boss that I was not okay and had a medical leave. Yes, guys, I have my own income. I'm an elementary English teacher. Anyway, the nanny was very comprehensive and kind. She had to spend the night, so I obviously paid her the overtime and also a generous tip as gratitude. My husband never showed up, neither to the hospital or home. I finally texted his male best friend to know what the F was happening, as he disappeared and clearly didn't care for me or his child. And we were right, it was not a life or death situation. His male BF told me that yesterday he had an emergency with his mother and asked for my husband's help. Apparently she had a cold that was getting worse, so they thought that it was pneumonia or COVID-19. Fortunately, she's okay and it was just a false alarm. His BF, let's call him Bob, wasn't even aware that I'd spent most of the night in the hospital. It was not my call to tell him, it was not his fault. So I thought it wasn't fair for me to storm off over him while he had no effing clue of what was happening. I personally believe that it is also important to support your friends, but what I don't understand is why he needed specifically my husband. He has siblings and his father who could help him take care of his mother. I thought maybe he needed my husband's money, but he could have just transferred it to his bank account and come to our family. Instead, he spent the whole night with Bob's family and stayed over. He left early from their house to go to work. In all that time, he didn't call or text to see how I was doing or if the baby was okay. I'm still very angry, disappointed, and heartbroken. I guess I just proved my whole point. Even though we are his nuclear family, we are not his priority. As far as I know, I could be dead and he wouldn't be seen up until my funeral. My friends and family are coming over in order to help me with my baby and to care for me. I'm feeling pretty weak, but after all, grateful that I'm alive. I'm still anemic and feeling weak, and we haven't spoken yet. And not even a frickin' text to see how I'm doing while he's at work. I'll update you once we do, but definitely doesn't look good for him. I don't deserve this BS, and neither does my daughter. I do love him, but I love myself even more, and I'm receiving not even the bare minimum. Final update. Hey everyone, I'm sorry I wasn't able to update you sooner. I've had a lot going on. Thanks again for your best wishes and the support I received. So, I went to my doctor's appointment yesterday, and the doctor that checked on me was a total ass. She didn't even let me explain my whole medical case, such as the tests that have been done previously, the symptoms, amount of blood discharge, nothing. She just asked basic questions and ordered other tests. Once they were done, I am supposed to see her again. I am not effing going with her. I already called my insurance and requested for another doctor who actually gives an F. As for my husband, we finally spoke. He apologized and recognized he was wrong and kept on giving excuses. I listened to what he had to say, but I finally told him that this was a deal breaker for me and that we should separate for a while. I was not going to deal with his BS anymore, and neither will my daughter. I did not hesitate, not even once. I didn't cry in front of him. He was trying to fool with the wrong person. He packed up his shit and he left. I don't care where he went or with who. I just wanted him out of my house. As soon as he left, I broke down and cried again, but he will not hurt me or my daughter ever again. He has no idea I've scheduled an appointment with a divorce lawyer. He will be served soon, I hope. As for myself, I am recovering and feeling a little stronger. Thank you all again. In the comments, She's All I Ever Hoped says, "Hey, I'm proud of you. Things will get pretty hard, but you're modeling to your child how to be treated. You're showing her it's okay to stand up for yourself. It wasn't okay what he did. He showed you who he is. Believe him. Hey, I still think something else was going on with your husband, and Bob was just covering for him. Seriously, he was absolutely no use to Bob in that situation, and even if Bob needed his help early on, there was no reason for him to spend the night. To me, it still sounds like he was cheating on you. Your medical problem: 1. Have them check you for endometriosis, and 2. Ask your OB/GYN about taking the pill continuously without breaks for periods. Several women I know did this without issues. This could definitely be an option for you. Yeah, who wants to bet his friend was covering for him? It really doesn't even matter if he was cheating on her or not, since he was still showing signs of unfaithfulness in other ways. Faithfulness in a relationship doesn't just apply to cheating, it also applies to being there for them and as a form of support. He failed spectacularly in an honestly pretty impressive way. If he was cheating on her, at least that is a more logical explanation than just being there for his friend just cause. The cover story is weaker than watered down apple juice. It's almost refreshing to see her, I don't care if he was cheating or not, I don't care where he was, he treated us like that, I'm done. I hope she gets a better doctor, gets her health under control, and that the divorce goes as smoothly for her as possible. I agree, she's really strong, and I love that she's saying she really don't give an F what he was doing. The point is that he wasn't there for her or their daughter, and that's it. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you think of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.